Michael in Kennebunk, Maine writes to me, Paul, I just have a single question. Okay, because I probably only have a single answer. It's about speaker cables, which are made for the purpose of bi-wiring only the speaker and intended to be driven by a single amplifier. Are there any sonic advantages to this setup versus a single wired cable at both the amp and the speaker terminals with the jumper in place on the speaker cable capable of being bi-amped? You know, it's a matter of degree. I imagine that you would hear a difference, but I don't believe the difference would be very great. Now, I've bi-wired a number of speakers, and I think part of the trick to that is back in the day, we would use very specific wiring that really made a difference. So, for example, and I think I've said this before, I've built many a bi-wire where I used a heavy, 10 gauge solid core wire for the bottom end, and then something very light. I've even used ribbon cable for the top end. And those dramatic differences in wiring can definitely be heard. Today's modern bi-wire cable, if you get it from AudioQuest, if you get it from, I don't know who, I don't pay attention, you know, Monster Cable's gone, so I don't pay attention to cables that much more. We just stick with AudioQuest because Bill Lowe and his group really make great cables. But to be honest, I don't hear a big difference in bi-wiring these days, not from the commercial guys, because they're basically two fine cables that, if you compared to a single one, might sound a little better, but honestly, I don't pay attention to it only because it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of difference, and it's a lot more expensive. So my advice to you would be to use the jumpers on the speakers and just buy the best speaker cable that you can afford and kind of skip it. I mean, if we go back in history, this all started back in the bi-amp days when amplifiers weren't really up to the task of full range. You know, you'd get an amplifier of them old days, and that amplifier was really good on the bottom end and it sucked on the top, or the opposite, right? Today's modern amplifiers cover the full frequency range just fine. And the same thing happened way back when with cables. But now the technologies have gotten to the point where separating them out doesn't really make a whole lot of sense anymore. So, hope that helps. Thanks for the question. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.